Now, last but not least of our guests, I am delighted to introduce Ross McWilliam, owner of Mindset Pro. Ross is a freelance speaker and mindset author with over 30 years experience empowering leaders in business, education, and in sport. During this time, Ross has engaged with more than 500,000 people, children, young adults, and senior professionals. He's based in Preston, but today he joins us from Studio 2, just up the corridor there. Welcome to you, Ross. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Richard, but I'm not as good as you.
Oh, bless you, sir. And Ross, you work with all kinds of interesting organisations and individuals. Tell us a few of the things you've learned and what do you like to share when it comes to health and well-being?
Yeah, we got some great experts in the rooms today. It's been fascinating to listen to it. The things I've learned is that people are very much aware of what to do. It's just sometimes getting started and keeping in a good groove. And I think Sue from Plum said, how do I start it off? And, the simple answer to it is have conversations. And within the conversations, make sure you're listening so we can get the engagement. And, dare I say it, the fun and enjoyment at work, which ultimately helps the bottom line. So everybody wins.
And is that something that you're able to share with businesses? And is that part of the programs you deliver? Is that, if we can have a bit of fun, it might help?
Yeah, mental health, we've all got mental health, some is more compromised than others. And I have not a light-hearted approach, but I try and balance it up, because if we're enjoying life and we're feeling good about things and we're in flow with our personal life or professional life, then things work for us better rather than fighting against that flow. So I try to introduce concepts and ways of thinking and being that easy to assimilate, easy to remember, but crucially, easy to implement. And change doesn't happen quickly. Change takes time. And we talk about two concepts in change. We talk about an awareness of the need to change, and then we talk about the action. So if we have those two together, over time, we'll get change. You'll read books that will say 21 days for a habit to change, but generally speaking, it does take a bit longer. And if you can enjoy that journey, then it's probably going to be more fun and more productive.
Now, we spoke in our last conversation, towards the end of our last conversation, about looking after yourself and to look after others. Ross, your job is to help others, individuals and businesses. But what do you do for your health and well-being?
Well, I've listened to some of the panel today and I like the vulnerability. Many of us, not all of us, many of us have health challenges. And a few years ago, I had a series of panic attacks. And basically, I was juggling too much, being too resilient. And I do talk about the caveat of resilience. We can just do too much for too long. And the body, we've got to listen to the body and the mind. So for me, myself, it's just being aware when I feel a little bit tired or a bit frustrated or a bit ratty and do something about that. And I'm in one of those different cohorts. I've got some disability and I don't do as much on my own where I'm very isolating where I am. But what I do like to do is recognize it, that awareness I talk about, then simple things, and we all know this, getting outdoors, nice and peace and quiet. For me, it's coming away from noise. I just want to get away from the noise. I exercise most days at home. I go up and down the stairs, if you want to call that running. I do a little few weights, but it's when I get outdoors, I come alive. And for me, my well-being is where I remove myself from any extraneous noise. And that is the beauty of it for me.
Now, that's great. And I must admit, I share entirely that. It's quiet that I cherish, which is bizarre because all I do is make a noise most of the time. Anyway, I don't know about you, Ross, but I am feeling pretty motivated by this event. What do you got, Ross? What have you got up your sleeve? You do a bit of motivation. What can you send us home with? Over to you, Ross McWilliam.
Oh, I love the pressure, Richard. Like I said before, change does take time, and we can get excited and motivated, then we can get overwhelmed by it all and stop. And that habit of stop starting can be very demoralizing and demotivating. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So get some ideas, try some things out, see what works for you. But we've talked about our lives in isolation. But if you want the most out of the life, you've got to be connected to people, and then that connection can go into collaboration. Now, I say that because no man is an island. And when we feel connected, we feel cared for. And when we feel cared for, we feel that we can achieve more than we're actually capable of, because people support us, they believe in us, and that empowers us. So if we want to achieve any change, we need to be connected to people, and we need then to have collaborations and see the world not as competition, not as comparison, as collaboration. Because I genuinely believe, this is my viewpoint only, that people want to help other people. And if I go along with that viewpoint, I engender trust. If I trust people, generally speaking, they trust me back. So if anybody wants to make some changes from this excellent presentation today, take it slowly, join with other people, see what works for you, be brave and throw things away that doesn't work for you. Somebody mentioned about the walking and steps and stuff. It doesn't really work for me, that. So throw it away. Find out what works for you, take it slowly, and try, and here's a big word for you, try and enjoy the journey as well as that destination.
I think we like that. That's lovely, is that, Ross? That's fantastic. Come on, go slow, connect, collaborate, be brave. Am I on the right lines?
Yeah, being brave, knowing who you are, your values and beliefs, and stick to them. You know, I've got to that ripe old age of 60 now where I care so much about people, but first and foremost, how do I feel? Do I feel compromised? Do I feel I want to make a contribution? Do I want to help other people? Yes, yes, and yes. And by being more relaxed with the ease of who you are and what you stand for, I think people gravitate towards you rather than you chasing them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop it there. The fabulous Ross McWilliam. Thank you, sir. That's been fantastic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have a brew with Ross in a minute because he is up the other end of the corridor. But as far as we're concerned, this concludes our formal business for the day.